Hello.
Hey Tobin, what's up, man? How are you?
How's it going?
I'm doing all right. Appreciate you taking a few minutes. I know you guys are in Reading today for the show tonight, so I appreciate you taking a couple of minutes to talk about the show in Bay City coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, Bay City. That's cool. That's like up by the lake, huh?
Yeah, it's I mean, I don't want to
Like
do the whole
Traverse
the
City.
whole Michigan thing, but here's Michigan, Saginaw Bay, and then like Bay City's right in here, so you're right. You're actually performing technically on the river in Bay City on the Saginaw River.
Oh, that's cool. I don't know if we've ever been there, but that'll be
I
fun.
don't I don't think so. And this is going to be the chatter is around town that this is going to be the biggest show Bay City has ever seen. You've got two people you've got to beat. You've got to beat Faith Hill, and you've got to beat out Poison. So I don't know, man.
Ooh,
I
Poison,
know
huh? Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but those country artists, man, they killing it everywhere.
they can pack in
Oh,
some people, but I don't know. Papa Roach and Falling in Reverse. When we announced this show, man, people went bananas that this show wasn't coming to Detroit, wasn't coming to Grand Rapids, that we were getting it in Bay City. People are pretty excited.
yeah, man, I'm excited. It's gonna be great. This tour's been awesome so far. So,
Yeah, I know you guys kicked it off last week, and you guys have been doing this for a long time now. Do you guys get when you're doing these big headline tours, these big headline shows, where you sort of have, the pressure is on you? Is there any sort of nerves when you guys kick this sort of stuff off?
no, I mean, well, not for me. I think Um, I don't know. I think we literally have been doing it so long, it's just like second nature. It's pretty automatic. Like, it's like it doesn't matter how long we've been doing it. It's like when we're out here making those sacrifices, being on the road, waiting essentially all day long for like that hour and a half or whatever on stage. It's like that's what we're here for. That's what we're waiting for. We're like just waiting for that moment to like jump out of our skin, just to explode on stage and connect with our fans, dude, and bring the music to the masses. So
You mentioned being
I
out on
want to
this
go to the
tour, and
interview. Shit on.
you
Everyone's
mentioned
like, man, it's hot in here. You got to turn the air on. I'm like, I'm doing an interview. I turn the air on. It's just, yeah, it's cold as fuck in here, but it's just so loud. So, anyways,
you can turn the air on, man. I don't care. You do whatever you got to
no,
do.
I literally I have bad hearing. I won't be able to hear if
Oh, right on. Well, that makes sense.
Arizona. I'll be like, what? So loud. It's so loud on the bus.
I
And
mentioned
we get like 65 degrees on here, so you don't have to smell everyone's ass and feet.
yeah, good call. I also do that in my own house, so I totally understand. You mentioned that you guys kicked off this
That's pretty
tour last
arctic.
week, and that the tour has been going really well. You guys played the shows with Hollywood Undead and Bad Wolves back on the Kill the Noise tour earlier this year. Why did you guys decide that those two bands you wanted to go out with them again?
Um, I think it just because it worked the first time around. It was, an eclectic lineup, and I think we have I think we all have the same manager too, or
No,
something like that. So
well that works out too. But this one's a little bit different because you added Falling in Reverse to these shows, and I know it's still
yeah.
early. But what does Ronnie, what did Falling in Reverse bring to that tour that maybe wasn't there the first time around when it was just you three?
Oh man, like, well, Ronnie, first of all, is a fucking character. Everybody knows that, he's like a, one hell of a front man, and I mean they're killing it right now. That band is killing it. The new music that he has coming out is doing great. And we've toured with Falling in Reverse before. He's come out to our shows, and expressed, his just respect for the band, and it's always kind of like, oh well, we should get together and do something, because they kind of come from that like newer school, and we're a little more old school, so it's like a perfect pairing to kind of just like mix our fans together, but we all still kind of bring like the same energy, you know what I mean? And it's all for, rock and roll, heavy music, and having a good time. It's just like perfect bill, perfect lineup, perfect match.
When you go out on a tour like this and you're doing this, back and forth with Falling in Reverse, is there a little friendly rivalry between you guys, between them, to see who can one up the other night in and night out? I know with you guys, I mean, I always talk about and tell people your live show is a show that needs to be seen, because even after 20 years, you guys still bring it every night. And I know Falling in Reverse does the same thing. Do you guys get competitive at all, when you guys are sharing the
I
stage?
mean, I'm sure. I mean, I would hope so, because that's kind of like, I think it's healthy, to like to have that because um if we had some band that played before us that was just like some shoegazer, you know, sleepy band, we'd just be like, okay, whatever. But when a band's like, when you hear the crowd, you know that the crowd's fired up. You know that that band's giving it everything that they got, and people are getting their money's worth, and people are having a good time. It's like you want to come up there and you want to maintain that energy, or elevate it. So of course, yeah, it makes us and dude, Falling Reverse knows there were no slouches. Did we get on stage and we throw down? So they got to throw down too, So no, it makes everyone put on their best show.
Well, we're looking forward to it in Bay City coming up here in a few days. I want to talk about the new album. Ego Trip has been out for a few months now, and Kill the Noise became a huge hit for you guys. Do you guys? I mean, you've been again. We've talked about you guys doing this 11th studio album, 20 years. When you guys are writing, when you're recording a song and you hear it done for the first time, do you get that feeling like with Kill the Noise or Last Resort? Do you get that feeling like, yeah, this song's going to be big for us with a song like Kill the Noise?
I mean, I know for a fact that when we finally finished Kill the Noise, which by the way, Kill the Noise has been done for like almost 3 years. Like we had to wait a long time, like through the pandemic and all that, to like finally find the right time to release it. Um, we just knew that it just was a good heavy song with an anthemic chorus, and we just knew our fans would like it. It just has the right ingredients, for a slamming song. It's actually, a great album opener. You know what I mean? A great intro song. So yeah, we utilize it like that live as well, and yeah, people connect with it too. I mean, that's like the message that we bring in that song. That's like a pretty universal thing that a lot of people are struggling with. So
How
it worked.
wild is it for you guys to have a number one hit like Kill the Noise 20 plus years after your first number one hit? Because if we're being honest, there aren't a lot of bands that have done like the 20 years, and you guys have had number one hits between then and, now. But what's it like to have that 20-year gap and to think back at all the stuff you guys have accomplished in that 20 years and still be at that level where you're still putting out songs like that?
I mean, it just, I mean, really what it comes down to is feeling, just really grateful that throughout our whole career, we've stayed like inspired, and excited about making music, whether it's a number one song or not. It's just like, okay, if people like the music, that's like the extra bonus. But just the fact that we're, excited to jam and write new songs. We're not like one of those bands who just wants to kind of regurgitate the same stuff and live off of like the success of, the early hits or whatever. That just the fact that we still have fun making records, writing new songs, and touring after all these years is pretty wild. I mean, that's what I'm just stoked about. And I'm like, I'm still there. Like I'm already thinking about, what we're gonna do next. Like I'm really excited to get in the studio and make some new ones, which I'm hoping to do like this year, the end of this year.
Now, I heard that this album, Ego Trip, you guys did something a little bit different where you guys went and you sequestered yourselves away in a house in the hills and got to spend your time together. Now, you guys have spent, years together on the road, but what was it like living in a house together for what, 3-4 weeks, just spending that much, not on a bus, but in a house, but still, you guys all do the COVID test. You make sure you're all going in clean. What's it like though? I mean, it's all day, every
It
day
was so
together.
fun. It was so fun. It was like it was much needed. It was like in the middle of COVID, and we had all been home, stuck home for like 4-5 months, and it was just like we all these demos had piled up, and it was just kind of like, okay, like what are we doing? Like we need to capture this energy, like this sense of urgency that's kind of floating around in the air. This whole world is going through a lot, so let's let's have some fun, man. Let's enjoy. What do we have control over? It's like let's get our all of our best friends, which just so happen to be our producers and engineers and people that we work with in the studio that we have such a great time with. Let's all get together and rent a house. And we rented this big old fat house that was like had a huge, like it was up in the mountains, like in the middle of the valley of like Southern California, like super remote and out of the way from people and everything. We were completely cut off. And there was like, I don't know, 12 of us like living in this house and just swimming and playing pool and basketball and riding dirt bikes. and we literally moved a whole entire studio's worth of gear into this house, like an Airbnb basically that we rented for like a month. And we just wrote and jammed and had fun and made songs 24/7, and just experimenting and just really having fun, not like trying to make a record, just living and sharing laughs and experiences, if you will, and just making music, just having fun. And it was, the highlight, one of the highlights definitely of that period, that kind of like that year and a half to 2 year period where everybody was just like, what the fuck is going on in the world right now? That's pretty much the bulk of Ego Trip.
Did you learn anything about the guys, about all these people, spend 3 weeks with them that you didn't know before from spending time on the road? Is there anything you realize about Jerry or about anybody that you're like, man, I didn't know this about you, but I don't like this about you? Anything like that?
No, I mean, if anything, I just realized that, like I said before, just it's amazing that here we are, I still feel like I'm that like 16-year-old kid, that I was when we first started, experimenting with music and kind of like living together and traveling together, being around each other constantly, and just exploring music. It's like it was the same kind of vibe, 25 years later. You know what I mean? It was just like same energy, same, fun, good times, same inspiration, same hunger and same respect for each other. Um, yeah, no, it was just we got to share it with like, some new people that we have involved with us when we make music, newer producers and people that we collaborate with.
How important is it for you? You talked about not wanting to sort of rest on all the hits that you've had in the past and sort of do things differently and not keep making the same stuff all the time. How important is it for you guys to try different things on albums? I know listening to Ego Trip earlier, and I've listened to it a ton because the album's great from front to back. I think about a song like Swerve on Ego Trip that has the elements of hip hop on it. I mean, it's a Papa Roach song, There's the hip hop elements. There's horns in there. It's sort of a different vibe than maybe what people
Yeah.
are used to from Papa Roach. Why is it important for you guys to not keep doing the same thing all the time when there are bands out there that have done that for 20 years?
I don't know if it's important. It's just what we do naturally. You know what I mean? It's just like it's just an unfiltered thing that we do to ourselves. And when we go in there and the goal is to just have fun and experiment and make music that makes us exciting. Sometimes, especially when you've been doing it as long as we have, it's like the most different stuff is what is exciting, to us. Now, whether that's the same feeling to our fans or the average listener, like I don't know, like it might not be that important to them, you know. It's just, it might be more important for us to try and capture like what people maybe like our old sound or what people expect from us, or I don't know, we just don't even think that way, honestly. We just go in and go for it, and then just put it out there. Like that's one thing, is we're not too precious about um trying to fit into a certain thing and make it the same thing and over again. Like whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, like I don't know. Like if I were to start thinking about that too much, then I would, it wouldn't come from an authentic place, I don't think.
Because you guys have been doing this for so long and you'll be working soon on your 12th studio album, are there things you haven't done yet that you want to do? Are there things, as you sit down, you start thinking about this next record, are there things that you haven't done as Papa Roach that you're like, you know what, next time let's try this? Or again, is it just we'll see what happens?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely things that we haven't done that I'd like to do. Like I have a lot of notes in my own head, of like things I want to try. Whether or not it's gonna work and stick, is really to be seen or heard, if you will. But yeah, I have a whole list of things that I want to try. It's always like a new approach or a new aesthetic, or a certain dynamic or dimension to the sound, and even approach to writing that might just make things a little bit more interesting. Like for instance, I've always wanted to try doing maybe a couple songs that are more centered around the bass guitar as opposed to the heavy guitar. I've always wanted to try, you know, writing more songs from like with a piano and a vocal, or an acoustic guitar and a vocal, because we've been spending a lot of time writing music around like like the computer where there's endless possibilities. Sometimes you have to switch it up and kind of like give yourself some restrictions. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna make a song, but we're only gonna do it like with these two organic ingredients. Like just little things. Like they're just ideas, and I say there's no rules, but sometimes it's kind of nice to put like you know like a little bit like you just kind of there's just endless possibilities nowadays, and it's nice to just kind of like make that a little bit smaller sometimes, see what you can make out of just a few little ingredients.
It's interesting talking about ingredients and talking about trying different things. And as I was prepping to talk to you today, I found in the dark corners of the internet an article that was put out back, I think, in June on ESPN about your involvement with ESPN and doing music for them.
Yeah.
How does something like that come about? Is that just a guy at ESPN's a fan of Papa Roach and here we are? Or how do you get hooked up with that sort of gig on the side?
Yeah, pretty much. Made friends with this guy named Kevin Wilson who works at ESPN, and he had synced a few of our songs in sporting events and stuff like that, and asked me if I wanted to give a crack at doing music for the UFC, under the ESPN, their new ESPN partnership. And so yeah, the walkout music, like all the stuff that they cut to and from commercial, stuff like that. Yeah, they play music that I made, and it was so cool because I was like a casual fan of you know MMA when that came around, and
Yeah.
then when I started working on that, I was just like, oh man, like now I'm obsessed. Like I know everything about everyone, and I'm such a huge fan of UFC, MMA, so much respect for that. And it's exciting to just hear that, for like the past almost like 4 years, they've been playing this. So it's pretty cool.
Is there one sport now ESPN has gotten into? I mean, they do the majors, but now they do like the Ocho where they'll do like cornhole and stuff that dodge.
Yeah.
Is there one sport that ESPN airs that they could come to you where you don't think you could write a song for? Like if they came to you and said, Tobin, we need a theme song for the cornhole championships, do you think you could pull it off?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like cornhole would be cool. Or like spike ball. Have you seen that? They have
Yeah,
spike ball.
yes. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like I love spike ball. Um, yeah, all that. I mean, it's a creative challenge, you know what I mean? Anytime you have to think, outside of what you would normally your go-to is, it's like that's the creative challenge. Like I enjoy that. So I'd be up for it.
I know it mentioned in that article that you're a big 49ers fan. I spent a couple of years in North
Oh
Dakota,
yeah.
so I know a little bit about Trey Lance. How are you feeling going into the season, knowing that Trey's going to be your quarterback?
Well, I'm excited and I wish him the best. I do kind of think that we should hold on to Jimmy, and just in case, I think we need him, like even if he's plan B, if he's backup, because I just don't know who else is there, and I really hope we hold on to Debo. Um, we got some new picks I'm excited about. We'll see. I mean, I always think about the era of Joe Montana and Steve Young. You know what I mean? We kind of if Jimmy G and Trey Lance can kind of be like, that dynamic, I would be excited for that.
I know you're on the road. You may have missed this news, but Debo signed like a 3-year deal to stay. So
Yeah, I think I just saw that on ESPN yesterday while I was eating my cereal. So yeah.
I mean, anytime I get to talk with a football fan is good. I'm a Lions fan, so nothing's good for me. So
Oh man. Well, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. You never know, dude. Turn around every year.
that's true. That's true. Now I know you're not. It's no secret that you're not a big social media guy, but I'm curious what you think. Jacoby is obviously he's the social media guy within the band. What do you think his involvement with TikTok and all the social media? What has that done for Papa Roach in terms of exposing you guys to like a younger audience? Because obviously radio and
Oh yeah.
videos, all that stuff, but TikTok is huge and Jacoby's all over it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it's helped, so much just keep the face and the name and the music and old songs, new songs relevant, and like kind of just remind kids. I mean, think about it, you have young parents who grew up with Last Resort, and then they see their kids, you know, looking at TikTok and hearing Last Resort, and they're sharing that, like, you know, that piece of history, and you know, and also it's just a great way to connect with fans, that because everyone's on their phones, and you know, doing that, you gotta get in their face, you know, and remind them. And so I think I think it's cool. Yeah, I mean, you know, and then you got to be so grateful to have a character, you know, like Jacoby, you know what I mean? Somebody up front, like a real, just one hell of a front man, you know, who can just sell it, dude, and make people laugh and cry, and um, you know, all that, dude. Yep.
It's got to be nice that you don't have to worry about any of that stuff.
Oh no, it's great. It's great for me. It's not really, you know, it's like it's not my personality. I don't think about that kind of stuff. I don't have any desire. I don't want to waste any time. Not that, you know, it's a waste of time, but I just don't find that I don't have the desire to spend time on social media. And I think I would come off very, it just wouldn't be authentic if I were to do it. You know what I mean? Like I already know that, like I would be the try hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And that's just not me. So I'm not even I'm not worried about it. Sometimes people think I'm weird and crazy and, you know, mysterious and all that stuff, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's not a bad. I mean, Maynard James Keenan has made a life out of it, made a career out of being weird and a little bit mysterious. So I think it's
Yeah.
good.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, we're just a few days away from that show in Bay City, man, and I am excited to have you guys to come to town. We've only got, I think there's only like a few, maybe 1,000 tickets left. So
Yeah.
we need everybody to come out. We want to sell out this show coming up on Saturday. We want to put as many
Yes.
people
Yeah.
on this
Go
hill as possible, right?
Yeah, if you want to go, you break your tickets right now, because I'm telling you, this show's going to sell out. Because this whole tour has been insane, dude. It's amazing. We're playing like a packed house tonight, and so yeah, get it, because this tour is hot, dude, and it's banging from beginning to end. Bad Wolves, and then I swear, Hollywood Undead will just crack you up, man. They'll put you in that party vibe, and then Falling in Reverse, you know, they are just killing it right now. And Papa Roach, dude, you know, we never let you down.
No, and for years I've been the promoter has asked me who should I get for this show, who should I get for this show, and for years I've said if you can get them, Papa Roach will sell tickets. Papa Roach will be the best show you'll have, and here we are, a couple of days away. You're coming to town, and I was right, because we're gonna sell. I mean, we're gonna sell this thing out. It's gonna be a huge party on a Saturday night in Bay City, and you'll get to see the river, which
Ooh,
is
yeah.
great.
Saturday night, dude. I got the fever.
Awesome, Tobin, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on Saturday. This is gonna be fun, man.
Right on.
All right.
Looking forward to it. I hope I run into you. We say hello.
I'll be around, man. I'll be hanging out and doing stage intros and all that stuff. So I'll be around.
All right, Matt. See you
All
there,
right.
man. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Tobin. See you, dude.